What's up guys, it's Ethan from Zimmer Labs, and I'm going to do a quick video on this budget build Graflex that I just finished for Samuel. Samuel, I hope you like it. I know you've been patiently waiting. Hopefully this video will be pretty short and sweet. The reason I say that is because this is really similar to the last video I did on my Titan class Graflex. The main differences with this guy versus that one is essentially the chassis. Whereas that one has a massive power plant 26800 battery, this guy runs off a standard 18650. Removable, just pull the little tab like you're used to. Battery only goes in the correct way, so if you put it in backwards you don't have to worry, because there's an indent that blocks the negative from contacting the positive tab, so the reverse polarity protection is there, so you don't have to worry about frying the board if you put it in backwards because you're drunk or half asleep or something playing with your lightsaber. But otherwise, this guy is going to be just almost identical to the last Graflex I built. This whole chassis in here does come out. I'm not going to take it out for purposes of this video because it's a bit more onerous to do than on the previous Graflex. The reason is the blade holder that I used in this guy. I used, I think it's a Graflex shop blade holder. And so it's not two pieces. Well, it is two pieces, but it's not two pieces split here, where you could just pull the glass eye and slide the whole thing out. In order to take the chassis out, you have to take out the two little star screws that are at the top, and then you have to pull these four copper pins, or brass pins I guess, and then the flathead screw right here. Once you take those five guys off and the two up top, this little top lip comes off, and then the whole thing will slide right out. And it will be what you would expect to see. It's a blade holder from here to here, and then from here to here we've got some threaded rods that run from all the way up in the bottom of the chassis up into the blade holder. There's 1, 2, 3 of them. This one's a shorty that ends right here, but they run in and lock the chassis to the blade holder and solidify the whole thing. And then in the middle section there is just a black plastic decorative bit and some aluminum piping cylinders in here for more decoration. But basically it's just nothing crazy going on in there. Actually, I will take it out, but we'll do that at the end. But the blades, the configuration, everything else, we just like the Titan class Graflex. To begin with, kill key or kill switch right here down at the bottom. We've got a massive 36mm speaker in here. I did that for Samuel just as a thank you for his business. There's a lot of guys out there building lightsabers, so he didn't have to pick me, but he did, and I appreciate it. So I did give him a nice fat upgrade on it. So the sound on this guy is great. These speakers really crank when you're comparing it to a 28mm. Actually, let me grab one of those just so you guys can see the difference. This is the JBL 28mm premium speaker that I use in a lot of things. This is a nice speaker. It sounds really good. But when you can go bigger and it's also premium, you have to do it. And as you can see, it's a pretty good size increase. Just the center cone here, basically the tweeter section of that speaker, is the same as the entire speaker cone here, as the entire woofer area. And then there's the additional woofer surround that's the same size as this foam surround, and then there's the foam surround on this guy. So this is 50% bigger. It doesn't seem like it would be 28mm versus 36mm, but at the end of the day, it's probably a 50% bigger speaker than this. Let's see, next up we've got Proffieboard. I typically wire everything carefully and on the bottom so you don't see wires. That's the case with this guy, with the exception of power wire and the data wire, because I did them last after everything had been built and slid up. I then connected those up. So rather than take everything apart and try to hide these guys underneath, I just attach them to the top. But it doesn't, you know, mess the overall look of anything. Bluetooth chip is here. Unfortunately, I just sold my iPad on eBay, so I don't have an Apple product to demo the Bluetooth here. So, Dimitri, hopefully if you're watching this, you guys are making some progress on the Android version of your CoreSync app, because guys like me, who really aren't Apple people, not knocking Apple products, they're great, but I love my Android phone and my Android tablet, and I can't do Bluetooth with that stuff until the CoreSync for Android comes out. So hopefully that's coming soon. But at any rate, to get an idea of how the Bluetooth works, just watch my previous video. It's going to work exactly the same way. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's about it. So let's... Oh, one last thing. Obviously, here's your blade plug. Illuminated, of course. Nice shine through on the glass eye, which is not there at the moment. Glass eye is here. Glass eye is done in a TFA or TLJ Force Awakens style with the exposed brass on the edges. And then I also did a brass geometric insert behind it just because it looks cool. I don't know where I saw that first, but whoever thought of that was a really good idea, so I stole that idea. But you know, you just put a little bit of metal, decorative metal behind the glass eye so that when it illuminates, you get that extra pattern going on in there. This is also your blade retention. There is a little dome of hot glue back here, which is dried and hardened to a rubbery, mushy, sticky contact surface, which when you put just the right amount in and you screw it on nice and tight, that will lock your blade or your blade plug in so that nothing's coming out. To the extent that you want to duel with this or really go crazy with it, and you find that this isn't enough, then you can just use this flathead screw. You'll just have to get a slightly longer one, because as it stands right now, this flathead screw is just long enough that it goes in but doesn't contact the blade. Let's take out the blade plug. To do that, you just pinch the rabbit ears and it falls right out. You round it off the bottom here so that it slides in and out nice and easy. It's not stuck. If you look in there, you'll see a nice neopixel, onboard neopixel Dimitri stock custom works blade connector with the onboard pogo pixels in a nice polished aluminum housing with a diffused plexiglass cover over it to protect everything and to give the light some diffusion. That's what she looks like. And you guys give me just 1 second. Oh, hi monkey. My dog just came in. I went to make sure she was doing alright. Blade. Standard 33-inch neopixel blade with a 1-inch to 7/8 inch blade tube adapter here. The reason I did that is because this is a 1-inch blade holder, not a 7/8, but I always go with 7/8 blades because they look better. With one exception, I think on crossguard sabers, the 1-inch blade looks better. Now, like I said, to lock that in, you just screw in the glass eye. Very solid. So this is your first blade. Standard blue. The Soundfont is Tin, which is a new one I just got. I think Samuel actually sent this to me. I really like it a lot. It's a really good Graflex Soundfont. I'm not sure who made it, but great sound effects. This guy has a nice red and white blade clash, a white and deep sky blue blaster block, and then a localized blade lockup. It kind of roams around in the middle section here, and it's white, red, and yellow. Right in the very center you get a touch of the red yellow, but mostly it's just white. And then the drag tip. That is white, red, yellow also. Next up we got cyan. Again, localized blade lockup. Nice red, white drag tip. It's a yellow, red blaster clash. It's a white, red blaster block. Purple blade. With a white and yellow localized lockup. It's a yellow and white clash. Got a bright green Return of the Jedi blade with a Sentinel, which is a really good Return of the Jedi-esque Luke font. With white, red, and purple localized lockup. White clash. White, blue blaster block. White and blue drag tip. Swarm for the Vader red. Localized lockup. White and blue clash. White blaster block and white and blue drag tip. Check out the shine through on the glass eye. It's strong, it's really nice. And I don't know if you guys can hear the bantha in the background. It's not actually a bantha, it's my dog. Next up is slow-mo blue spark tip blade. Fireblade done with a random per LED flicker effect. Say that twice. And we got a blue Jedi Fireblade. The red non-localized lockup. Red clash. Red blaster blocks. Red spark tip. Blue Tron blade. It's a really aggressive blade lockup. White yellow clash. White blaster block. White and red drag tip. Turbine blade. Cornhorn yellow blade. Electricity blade. Jedi seizure blade. The Ben Solo flickering blade. another blue fire blade. It's got some different quirks to it compared to the first one. It's just fun. I like it. It's got some cool effects going on it, so I like to add this one in addition to the first. I think we might be to the end where the bonus blade is hiding. Nope, this is the Eye of Sauron blade. Thank you to Fernando de Rosa for that one. And then the last blade is a bonus blade. Nobody get too uptight about this. It's a Pikachu blade. Unfortunately, the only reason I did this, I think the only reason Samuel wanted this is because he had a Pikachu Soundfont. He sent me that, and he said, why don't you do a Pikachu blade to take advantage of the Pikachu Soundfont? And I said, all right, sure. I mean, I've done maybe lamer things in my life, so this is certainly not the lamest thing I've done. But unfortunately, I did it. I programmed it, I put it on there, and I turned it on, and when I turned it on, the board crashed. Because, for whatever reason, the Pikachu Soundfont is just not compatible with the Proffieboard. Somebody who's better at audio sampling and audio mixing than I am can probably get it working fine. I had to rename all the different files in there, and the updated Pikachu font is on the SD card here. It's in a folder called Pikachu Doesn't Work. So all you have to do is probably use Audacity or some program like that and just tweak maybe the refresh rate or the kilohertz or, you know, some sampling issue, and then I'm sure the sound font will work great. But as it stood, sound font did not work. So I put a new sound font that K-Sith sent me. It's called Vengeance. So this is the Pikachu Blade with Vengeance sound font. Nope, I lied. This is the Eye of Sauron. This is the Pikachu Blade. It is gradient from yellow to blue. It's got localized lockup, but not as drastic as I was hoping for. It's got a blade lockup that's a combination of a strobe light and rainbow. Yeah, I guess it's really anticlimactic. Sorry about that, guys. I was kind of hoping for more from this. But this blade is a work in progress. So, ideally it was going to be a lot more yellow and a lot less of this washed out white in the middle. So I'm going to have to revisit this guy, and hopefully somebody will get the sound font working. But, there you have it. I think that's about it, really. Remember always to turn off your main power kill switch when you're not using it, when you're putting it away. To put her back together, it's a simple matter. Actually, before we do that, slide, twist, and lock, and sounds really good. That 36mm speaker sounds great in the Graflex. Graflexes are hard to make them sound real good because the speaker's right on the end, but it abuts this, you know, solid plate. Obviously, you do vents and holes behind the Kobold clip, but still there's only so much sound that can come out. One good trick is to put a ton of little tiny holes here, right around the pommel, right on the edge of that lip where it kind of folds over. If you use a really small, really tiny gauge drill bit, you can do that without the holes even really being visible, but I don't want to do that without Samuel's go-ahead. So that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a quick video on this guy, which I just built today. This is the new Graflex blade holder emitter from Martin Bayer. This thing is a bear to build, pun intended. But that being said, it's awesome. It really is worth doing, and believe it or not, it is worth the $300 some odd that it costs to make. And then I just picked up this Anovos Premier Line Kylo Ren helmet, so I'm going to do a build on this guy as well. And that is that for tonight. Thank you as always for watching, guys, and stay tuned.